Today we are here on the CNB to review climate change, a little known topic. Before we go to our guest scientists, we ask the general public a highly debated question. Why do or why don't you believe in climate change?
So I don't believe in climate change because if the world changes every day on a daily basis, why doesn't the climate change also? It just doesn't make sense.
I don't believe in global warming necessarily. I believe in global climate change because everything's changing. Just be like, it was so easy.
We're back with environmentalist Sina Salerno, and she has an answer to the reason global warming is debated.
Thanks, Kyla. So 97% of scientists do agree that global warming and climate change is a problem that we're going to have to be facing in the near future. The big problem that we are facing right now, though, is that the general public has a really hard time understanding the difference between weather and climate. Climate, compared to weather, climate is the average extremes, highs, lows, rainfall, snowfall, snowmelt, runoff, for example, that an area has. Climate is the average of all of these things. So weather is the day-to-day of these. So your weather one day may be 89 degrees, and the next day it may be 87 degrees. There's always going to be a change in the weather. But climate is not meant to change day-to-day like that. Climate isn't meant to change really at all.
That's so interesting. And what do the scientists expect 2050 will look like given our current state?
So because of this research, we know that in the year 2050, which really isn't that far away, we've already made the prediction that all of our fossil fuels will be gone. But we also now know that on average, the temperature is most likely going to rise between 3 and 6 degrees on a daily basis. So 2050, just a few years from now, on this day, today is 89 degrees, it'll be approximately 95 degrees. Which is really a big jump because that means our icebergs are going to be melting and our carbon disruption is going to continue. We also do know that because of the carbon disruption and the icebergs melting, we believe water levels around the world are going to rise 3 to 4 inches minimum. And that may not seem like a lot, but that does mean that there are a few million people out there who are going to be affected by this change and they're going to have to relocate, and that's a big deal.
Welcome back. I'm here with Dr. Grace Hodge, who has been a carbon scientist for the past 100 years. Do I look that old to you? Anyway, our first question for you today. What is climate change?
Climate change is a change in the weather patterns of an extended area.
And my second question for you. How is carbon and the ocean affected in this?
First of all, you're going to have to know about the carbon cycle. And the carbon cycle is the process of which plants taking carbon from the air through photosynthesis and make it into glucose. Glucose is now transferred into the animals when the animals start to eat the plants. When that animal dies, the carbon is released back into the air.
That's very, very interesting.
The only problem is when humans come over here, when humans drive cars, they release extra carbon in the air, including factories. When this extra carbon goes in the air, that's a lot more carbon for the plants to take in. So when there's too much, when the atmosphere is warm, the ocean gets warmer and it can't take in carbon, leaving all this carbon in the air, making the globe warmer.
You heard it here, folks. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us on our show today.
You're welcome.
Bye. Man, she was just something else.
We're still rolling.
Oh.